you're married to or together with a person you've noticed seems to be somewhat emotionally immature and you want things to change or figure out how to interact with them, stay tuned because that's what this video is all about. Hi there, welcome here. I'm Maika, I'm a psychologist, and the video on this channel that has been second most interesting to all of you, at least based on the views, is the one about handling relationships with emotionally immature people. The strategies I share in that video apply mainly to relationships with parents, family, extended family, friends, and colleagues, but not really to spouses and partners. So in this video, I want to address that. To think of behavior as emotionally immature is a very broad term that's not a clinical diagnosis, but a term that can be used to describe any behavior that is difficult in the realm of emotions, relationships, and mental health. It's not a term that's meant to label someone's character or identity. It's about emotion skills, which we can all learn to get better at. We all start out emotionally immature as kids and learn more as we go. And for many different reasons, some people stop maturing at an earlier place in emotional development than others. It's important to me to point out that this is not a judgmental or hateful term. This is about problems with emotion skills. Someone can have more emotion skills in one area and less in another. They can be more or less open to reflecting about and willing to work on these skills. The point is, this is not a term that's about being judgmental or jumping to conclusions prematurely. Now, what can you do if you notice emotionally immature behavior in your partner? I'm going to assume that you either want to stay together and work things out, or that you're in a phase of figuring out if you have a future together. Here are my suggestions. Number 1, focus on your agency. When something is off in a romantic relationship, we often hyper-focus on our partner and their flaws and lacking skills. We want our partner to act differently, and we look for ways to get them to do that. We try to push them into what we want. And this doesn't work, or barely. What happens by applying pressure like this is that it creates a wall between you and your partner that you keep pushing against from one side, and they keep pushing back at from the other side. What's more helpful is to focus on your own agency. So instead of emphasizing that your partner needs to change the way they approach and respond to you, change the way you approach and respond to your partner. If you start changing, it changes the dynamic you have as a couple. For example, instead of demanding that your partner stop shouting and then shouting back at them whenever they do, instead of shouting back at them, say, "Can we please discuss this in a calm and gentle way?" By focus on your own agency, I'm not saying that it's all on you and that it's all your responsibility to make the relationship work. It takes two to make a relationship work. And you deserve someone that treats you well and responds to your needs. It's not all your job to do all of the emotional work, and you can use your own agency to rearrange any imbalance in this area. In conflict, we often focus on what the other person is or isn't doing, and that makes us feel help and hopeless. By focusing on your own sphere of agency and influence, it empowers you to start moving into the direction that you want to go into, taking small steps into the direction of the kind of change you need in order to be able to stay in this relationship also gives you a better sense for how much hope there is that it can work out eventually. Number 2, say what you're willing to do. The first important place to start utilizing your own agency more is by taking ownership over the things that are yours to decide. Think of something you and your partner often disagree on where they expect you to go along with their preferences. Ask yourself how far you're willing to go to accommodate their wishes and at which point you're not comfortable anymore. Listen in to the emotional and physical responses of your body. They will give you answers to figure this out. Then let your partner know. For example, I'm not really comfortable with your family member moving in with us, but I'm willing to support you and them in finding a new flat. Or I'd be happy to join you for a bike ride in the morning, but I don't really feel like biking the whole weekend. Or this is a really important topic and I want to discuss this with you. At the same time, it's late. We're both tired. Let's discuss this tomorrow morning. Or I can see that you're really irritated and I'm so sorry that you had to go through this. At the same time, I don't agree that this was my responsibility. Number 3, take initiative, make suggestions. Another way you can change the relationship dynamic with an emotionally immature partner is by making more suggestions and taking the initiative. Again, this doesn't mean that it's all on you, but often people feel dominated by emotionally immature behavior, and they can change this by stepping out of a pattern of being overly submissive and passive. Let your partner know what you want, what you would like to do, what your goals are, what you hope for and dream of. Don't hint at it. Express it clearly. Make it super easy for your partner to know what you need. Give yourself permission to have needs and express them. Be open about what you want. Number 4, address emotions. Your partner probably won't initiate conversations about inner things or emotions, but that doesn't mean that they're not interested or unable to have these kinds of conversations. They may just not know how to have inner topic conversations or not be aware of their importance. So when you talk, make it a point to share your feelings and ask your partner about theirs. How did that make you feel? What was important to you in that situation? What did you hope for? You can also experiment with picking up on your partner's emotional vibe and then putting that into words. This is called verbalizing. This needs to be done with a lot of kindness in your tone of voice. Otherwise, it'll come across or may come across as you accusing them or calling them out. It can sound like, "How are you, honey? You seem really exhausted." Or, "Is there something that's irritating you? Did something upset you?" Also, let your partner know about your feelings. "I experimented with this or that change today, and it felt great." Or, "When you said I shouldn't be so sensitive, I felt hurt, sad, angry, and got the impression that you misunderstood me." Whenever you have these kinds of conversations about emotions, let your partner know about the positive effect you see this is having on your relationship. "When we talk like this, I feel so much closer to you. Thanks for listening, it means a lot. I love all of you, also the parts that you think are defective or weak. I love it when you allow me to see you. When we talk like this, I get the sense that we'll be able to get through anything." Number 5, create a safe space. Often what lies behind emotional immaturity is fear of not being enough and fear of emotions. If you make sure that your partner feels safe to express themselves, they'll have the safe space they need to be more open and present emotionally. You can create a safe space by responding to them with empathy, understanding, appreciation, kindness, and compassion. What destroys emotional safety is judgment, unconstructive criticism, blame, defensiveness, and minimizing their problems. Having said all of that, I hope there was something in this collection of thoughts that was a helpful new perspective or idea for you. Let me know what you think in the comments. I love hearing from all of you. Consider subscribing if you haven't, and check out my email newsletter. Till next time, take care. And remember, you can change your dynamic as a couple by changing the way you approach and respond to your partner. That may not be enough. At the same time, you won't know unless you've tried.